Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Ahoy! Let's go! We're waking up Chicago. Turn up the radio. It's time to start the show. On Q101 with the morning crew. Ahoy! Let's go! Welcome to the morning show.
Let's go. It is 6:02. It is 46 degrees. Feels amazing outside. On its way to 60 today.
It's supposed to be 60 today?
It's supposed to be 60.
Oh, my God.
I know.
I love global warming.
Really worked out.
It's a blessing in the sky.
Until we get that wave, like, in the day after tomorrow, like, comes off Lake Michigan and goes like it does in New York.
It's coming, by the way.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna enjoy 60 in February while it lasts.
Yeah, we should enjoy it while it lasts until that wave comes. I guess it comes from the St. Lawrence Seaway all the way through all of the Great Lakes and then down Lake Michigan. And then just kind of take out the Hancock building, this wave. That movie, it was on over the weekend. I watched a little bit of it. You haven't seen that movie,
No.
right? Yeah, that's basically what it's about. But the CGI in that of this tidal wave going over like the Empire State Building and the Statue of Liberty, it's a little terrifying. And it's probably going to happen someday. But let's live for today. Carpe diem.
Well said, brother. I'm glad it's this warm. I'm glad it's this warm. And what I don't like is everybody has to be a tough guy in the winter. Everybody has to say, "Oh, it hasn't actually been that cold out this year. It's fine. It
hasn't been.
Light Chicago winter, all things considered."
Yes, absolutely.
We had 3 weeks in January where it was hell, and it was a different form of hell every single week.
Okay.
That was winter. I'm good now. We've done our part. I've prayed my penance. I'm ready to move forward.
Okay, but they're all right and you're wrong.
How?
Because it has been 3 weeks of cold for Chicago. It's usually 3 months of disaster.
But it's been cold.
It hasn't been that cold.
It's been unpleasant.
It's been comfortable.
I go outside every day. I don't like it.
It's been very comfortable.
Do you feel that way, though, that whenever it gets cold out or whenever there's snow, there are all these winter tough guys? Oh, it wasn't that much snow. Not that cold out. I'll wear gym shorts even though it's 20 degrees.
That's me.
Yeah, oh, God.
I wear gym shorts and my puffy coat. I feel like I'm going to 7th grade basketball practice. I went to pick up a pizza on Friday, and Megan goes, "Are you going to basketball practice?" Because I have my high tops on, my basketball Adidas shorts, and then I throw my puffy coat on top, backwards baseball hat. I'm like, I'm a grown-ass man, and I look like a 7th grader.
Like a cartoon.
Oh, it's great. It has to be 10 below zero for me not to wear shorts outside to run the garbage out or go to run an errand.
I don't get that. Whenever there's like a big winter storm coming and we try to inform our Facebook followers, like, hey, there's bad weather coming, always a guy in the comments, it's not that bad, actually.
Yeah.
I've seen worse.
Yeah.
Why? Just admit the weather's bad. It's okay.
No, he's right. I'm with him. It's not that bad. It's okay. Listen, during the polar vortex, I walked to work in 30 below zero. I still didn't complain. I said, this is kind of nice. It wakes me up. My eyelid froze shut when I was walking to work. Remember that? I had to throw hot water on my eye to unlock my eye from the ice.
I remember during that. There was like the day or two where everything was shut down. Nobody was going outside. The third day, I said, I really want a meatball sub right now. And I walked to the Subway down the street from the apartment I was living in at the time.
Yeah.
And about halfway through, I thought, this was dumb. This was a dumb thing to do for a meatball sub.
But when you got it, it was worth it.
And you know my Subway order. Foot-long meatball sub on white, no cheese, not toasted. Put meatballs on bread, slide it down the counter. Let's get this over with.
Well, let's have a discussion again about your meatball order because there's a couple things wrong with it, Case. But interesting fact here from one of our regular crew members, Allie, checked in. Allie Maxwell, 331. Fun fact, the government tried to stop the release of the movie The Day After Tomorrow because it will happen. Now, I didn't do any fact-checking on that. That's Allie, our lover, checking in on that.
Our lover?
I said I love her. She's not our lover.
That's what you said.
I love her. I love her.
Well, if I was in the government, I would do the same thing. They were just doing their job.
But there's been disaster movies since movies started. Why'd they do with that one?
Well,
say
this one's gonna happen.
But Godzilla could come out of the ocean too from all the nuclear explosions from 1940s.
I hope I'm there to see it when it happens.
Oh, me too. I would die if Godzilla came out of Lake Michigan. It'd be the best day ever. All right, coming up with Brian and Kenzie on Q101, which, by the way, it's me, Brian. That's Case, the producer, if you're new to the show. And Roker Jr. filling in for Kenzie while she's on maternity leave. He's down in the lobby, by the way. We've got to go get him, Case.
He's down there right now?
He's down there right now.
I was wondering, your phone was on. I heard you get a text right before the show started.
Yeah.
Is that him?
Yeah, it's him.
All right.
He doesn't have a card to get up. We got to go get him up.
I'll go get him in just a second. You tell us what we're giving away today, though.
How about it? Pearl Jam, 8 o'clock, Wrigley Field. You will be there. Just be here at 8. We have that. We have Cold War Kids during Clash with Kenzie, which Roker will do trivia. You beat him. You get Cold War Kids tickets for Salt Shed. You get to go to their sound check and meet them. You can even judge them in the sound check. It's kind of fun to heckle bands during the sound check. And then finally at 9, how about this Moon Crush Festival happening where you're going to see people like Noah Kahan, yes, the revivalist, Marcus King, the incredible blues player. It's just an incredible trip package that you'll get at 9 o'clock. You have a chance at it anyway, called Moon Crush. It's down in Florida. Speaking of weather, Case will probably apply for that so he can get out of this brutal winter. It's 60 in February here in Chicago.
I can't wait to give you the finger all the way to Florida.
And I'll give it back in my shorts. I'll do that, yeah.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
All right, here we go. So we have some updates for you. As we mentioned, we have the Pearl Jam tickets coming up at 8. Just keep that on your calendar. Roker Jr. has arrived.
Yay, yay.
Good job. People, I can't tell you how many DMs I got yesterday saying, when's Roker going to say yay, yay? And there he goes. There's the first one for you all
That's
week.
right.
All right, my great friend and Chicago radio legend, Roker Jr., filling in this week with Mackenzie still on maternity leave. We have Case, the producer here. Of course, I'm Brian. And we have a special guest in the studio. Renee's here. All right, Renee. What's going on? Get a little close to that microphone. And we just met her as a longtime listener. She's I don't want to say too much about what you're doing here in the building and stuff because you don't keep you on low profile, right?
Well, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't? Okay.
No,
So
Yeah, she don't care.
she seems to,
Yeah. She
go.
don't give a you know what.
she knows everything about the show. And she just said she was just listening. I was talking about The Day After Tomorrow, which I have an update on that movie, by the way, in Case being such a little bitch about winter and stuff like that.
What did I do?
But Renee, how long have you worked here in the NBC Tower?
7 years, February 7th.
All right, 7 years. And you don't want to shout out your company or nothing, do you? Or
Nah.
yeah, let's not.
Right, exactly.
Let's not do that. We're so stoked that you're here and hanging out in this break and getting on the air. We appreciate you listening.
Well, thank you very kindly for offering me to come into the studio this
I
morning.
assume you're a lifelong Chicagoan. Yes. And where'd you grow up?
On the south side.
South Side.
Where'd you go to school? High school.
I went to 2 high schools, actually. I went to Aquinas Dominican, which used to be on 72nd and Clyde,
Okay.
right next door to St. Philip Neri. But my last 2 years, I went to the infamous Jones Commercial.
Ah, so you got kicked out of that other school.
No, I actually,
Yeah.
I wanted to go to public school for years, but I'm raised Catholic, went to parochial school all my life, and had been asking my grandmother, can I go to public school? Because many of my other friends
you don't
were
hear
as
that
well.
often.
Can I go to
Can I go to public school?
Can I go to public school? Because they did all the cool stuff. They had you used to have different programs and things, workshop and home ec and all the kind of thing.
Lack of resources.
Yeah.
All those fun things.
No air conditioning. all that fun stuff.
Well, now it's like that, but back then it seemed like public school did a lot of cool stuff. You know?
Yeah, you want to get in there.
But that wasn't in the cards. But when I decided and asked, could I go to Jones because it was business oriented, it required you to do that proper etiquette of working in the office and that kind of thing, and she was good with that.
All right. Well,
Nice.
Renee's here. And listen, so got to get an update here about the movie The Day After Tomorrow. Roker, you missed this. We were just talking about that. His case is just whining about it's 60 degrees today it's going to be, and thank God global warming finally got here, And then that movie Day After Tomorrow where the big wave comes. You've seen that movie?
Yes.
Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah.
All that?
Big fan.
Yeah. So Allie, one of our crew members, checked in and said the government tried to stop that movie from being released because it's going to happen, I just did a little Google search. Okay, so NASA did refuse to talk about that movie when it came out.
Oh,
NASA did?
NASA's apparently they said we want to talk about this. Is it possible? And NASA had this tight-lipped policy about we're not talking about it. You can talk to people outside of NASA that work with us about it, but you can't talk to us about it. And then they realized how much of a bad look that was.
Yes, very bad.
And then they said, hey, who wants to talk about The Day After Tomorrow? And they basically said it's impossible for that to happen. Like, it's so unlikely. There's no models. Like in the movie, they talk about the weather models. If you haven't seen this movie, it's basically about the North Atlantic losing its salinization, the salt. Which I love salt, by the way. I love adding it to everything. But because the polar ice caps melt, it makes it more like fresh water. It warms everything up, and then the torrential blizzards happen, and rain and terribleness. The ice age comes back, basically.
And what year was Day After Tomorrow? What year was it in the movie?
2004. We're going back 20 years. Another 20-year anniversary of a movie.
Oh, pour one out.
Now, some people say it was released to rip George Bush, as president, say not enough about climate change. And that's probably why George Bush said, like, hey, you guys down there in NASA, don't talk about this movie. And then he also he stumbled over the bad look and said, hey, guys, go talk about the movie.
Do a Q&A for me.
Yeah. So Allie's kind of right. The government tried to maybe not talk about it, but they did. But they also say now, it was all rhetoric and it can't happen. But then whenever the government says that, it usually happens.
Yeah,
now the polar ice cap is melting. And
Yeah. And also, a Double Features Mike checked in and said he actually won the Cold War Kids sound check from you yesterday, or as a friend, and he's bringing Godzilla.
He's bringing Godzilla.
Because Godzilla will come out. Because talking about disaster movies have been around forever. And why did the government try to stop The Day After Tomorrow? All the ones, they've been around
They've been out, right.
Yeah. Why'd they worry about that one so much?
Armageddon.
Yeah.
Right?
San Andreas.
Yeah, the comet
San
ones.
Andreas. Yeah. You got to love those earthquake ones, right?
But heck, you think about all the chemical crap that's going on in the water. Hey, Godzilla could be a thing, too.
Hell yes.
This was Brian's point.
That's my point, Renee. But I can't stop drinking the Kirkland from Costco, the water bottles. It says there's cancer in there. But I can't stop it because it's only $3 for a case of water.
Well, why make a change
It's the
now?
PBA that's in the damn thing.
You got to come down more often. Have you seen San Andreas with The Rock?
No, I have not.
Oh, you got to catch up on that one.
Yeah.
Case hasn't seen that either. That was a movie that Rock just said, I want to make a movie for $50 million.
And they went, okay.
Yeah,
you're The
that's
Rock.
cool. It's kind of enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's kind of all right. All right, so Renee, thank you for checking in. Appreciate you listening. Al Roker Jr. is here. Case is here. We'll have a fact soon that makes your brain go. And it's our good friends, White Reaper, Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. As again, Al Roker Jr. So happy you're back again. Was it harder to get up today? You got up mornings for what, 15 years at some point?
No, since 1988, maybe.
Oh, damn, dude.
Yeah.
Normal hours for you.
Yeah.
But you better sleep in, though, right?
It's tough.
Yeah.
Especially with the drive in.
Yeah, Roker used to be down there on the south side. Now he's out in Joliet, southwest way side.
Yes, I could have gone home to here, home to here, home to here in the amount of time it took for me to now go from home to here.
That's too bad. But hey, you're getting that out of Cook County taxes.
That's exactly right. So it evens itself out.
It's wicked how far Cook County goes. Like, you think it's just the city, but it's not. You got to get way out to get out of Cook County.
It's huge. It's like 10 million people in Cook County.
Yeah. How'd they extend the county so far? Shouldn't it just be the city?
Somebody paid somebody off. That's how, you watch Channel 11 and those histories of Chicago and those type of documentaries.
Oh, I love
it's
those.
Like, oh, yeah. And then it got annexed to Chicago.
Yeah,
it's like they just kept adding on like Lego.
Yeah.
That's why Will County looks like Lego. It's got... They just Legoed all the counties,
As soon as an alderman got a payoff, another little quadrant.
That's it.
Yeah, should have been that. Should have been an alderman. All right, coming up in a fact that makes your brain go. It's kind of interesting because we've been told something to do when something happens. I'm trying to not give it all away here, but the one thing you've been doing wrong your whole life that you were told is the right thing to do, okay?
Gotcha.
And you've been doing this because you're afraid to lose $1,000, but we're doing it wrong. Is that clear enough for you when I say it that way?
Not at all.
Okay, let me try.
I have no idea what you're talking
Let
about.
me try it one more time.
All right.
This is who Case gets this. The one thing you've been doing wrong your whole life that you were told was the right thing to do.
Gotcha.
Just accept. Does that statement make sense?
I follow.
Okay. Because when I tell you this is going to blow your mind, and we'll do that coming up here in about 5 minutes, that's the fact that blows your mind.
Oh, I get it now.
If I keep going, if I keep talking, I'm going to ruin the tease. So I'm just going to shut up and push this button.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
All right, time for a fact that makes your brain go. Now, this was the appropriate tease. I hope it kept you around. There's one thing you've been doing wrong your whole life that you were told was the right thing to do to save you $1,000. And a lot of people guessed stop, drop, and roll when there's a fire. No, I think you're still supposed to do that. That's okay.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know how that's going to save you $1,000 unless you got $1,000 in your pocket.
Which is very rare these days. To walk around with, I like walking around with 100. It's nice to have $100 on you. You still do that, Roker? Or is like, do you use cash at all?
I have a $2 bill on me.
Yeah?
At all times, yeah.
At all times, you have a $2 bill
Yes,
on you?
I do.
Why?
Just because. You thought it was cool, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Oh, you got me there.
Damn. So here is that fact that you've been told to do this your whole life, and you're doing it wrong. They said it was the right thing to do, and here it is. Putting your iPhone in rice when it gets wet. That's the wrong thing to do.
What are you supposed to do then?
Well, here's the instructions I will give you. But first off, you were told that, right? When you got wet.
Yeah, that's kind of been the iPhone trick, right?
Yeah, throw it in a bag of rice.
Yes.
Now, I know some of the iPhones
After you drop it in the toilet.
Well, I've done that.
Yeah.
Yes.
You ever done that?
Yeah, it finally happened.
Uh-huh.
It finally happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, no.
Was there anything in there?
No, there was something in there, but it wasn't as bad as you're thinking.
Well,
It need more than rice.
I mean, there's only 3 or 4 options that could be in there.
That's true.
2 generally, there's a couple others.
I was
there's
gonna say
a
3 or
couple.
4,
It could
but I
be
guess okay.
Sometimes all at the same time.
So, do not do that, they say, because mixing water with electronics always is bad, but when you throw it in the rice can actually cause more problems getting in a port or just in general being around it. I don't know what a-hole said to do that at first, and then everybody believed it. That if your iPhone gets wet, put it in rice because the rice will suck the water out.
That sounds like it would be something that was on TikTok, right? But this was before TikTok.
Yeah, it's
But
predating that,
like
yeah.
it would be a TicTok thing.
It's almost pre-Facebook. I mean, I know iPhones were 2007, but it's right around the same time as
It was
Facebook.
a MySpace trick.
Yeah. Which was so huge back in the day. Don't insert any, because, again, the rice can cause more damage to your phone as it tries to suck it in when it gets the water out than just the water itself. They say what you should do, dry the phone with a cloth. Tap the phone gently to drain the water from the port. It's like just tap it a little bit, bip, 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 drops come out. And then put it in a dry area with airflow. But don't use a hairdryer because the heat could, I almost swore, could have up your iPhone too. So that's all they say to do. That's better than putting it in rice. It's just that. Just wipe it off and then tap it to get the ports, all the water to come out of your charging port. Don't charge it right away, and then put it in a dry area with a little bit of wind, like a little bit of that.
Apple would recommend that you just buy another iPhone.
Correct. Yeah, that's what they would do. But the rice can really mess up your phone.
It makes me wonder in life what else we're doing wrong, because this is not, I wouldn't even say this is a theory. This has been the go-to move when you drop your phone in the toilet, like you said. It makes me think of that movie Limitless, where you could access 100% of your brain power instead of, we only access like 12% of it or something?
I don't know.
We're not using a lot of our brain.
Pretty big fact there.
But it's like, wait, what else are we doing wrong? Are we living the most inefficient lives possible? Feels like there's room to grow here.
Okay, so I stopped listening to you
Okay.
when you said the movie Limitless. We just talked about The Day After Tomorrow, and you haven't seen like Shawshank Redemption, but you've seen this movie I've never heard of.
Haven't seen Limitless, just saw the trailer. I remember the plot, though.
Oh, so you didn't see it?
No, never saw the movie.
God.
Limitless was like a hit, though. This wasn't like an indie film.
Have you seen it, Roker?
I have not seen it.
Have you heard of it?
I think that's not the one where the guy was in love with a computer, was it?
No, that's Her.
Oh, okay.
Her's a good movie. that's a Spike Jonze movie. That's a good one. The same guy that did the Beastie Boys music videos did Her.
And that was Joaquin Phoenix in that movie, I
think
believe.
so, yeah.
I didn't see it either. I just saw the trailer that he falls in love with a computer. I'm like,
No, that's a good one. You should watch that.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen that, though?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, you saw that movie?
I saw it's Spike Jonze. Of course I saw it.
But he hasn't seen Shawshank.
No.
No, I haven't seen a lot of things. I tell Brian all the time, I like old TV, I like old music, old movie. I don't like movies, period. Movies are too long. I can't focus.
See what I'm dealing with?
Attention span.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have one either, but I watch movies. What did I watch last night? Oh, World War Z. You ever seen that with Brad Pitt?
When was that on? What was that on?
It was on like Paramount or something. The free one, not the paid version.
Yeah, the old Spike TV.
Yeah, Brad Pitt. Real a good movie.
I haven't seen the movie. I've interviewed Max Brooks when the book came out.
Damn. Roker
Mel
over
Brooks'
here.
son. Mel Brooks is. I'll tell you about him later.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It's Mel Brooks' kid wrote that movie?
Yes. Wrote the book.
Well, that's a better fact than I gave about the rice. Jeez.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101 with Roker Jr. here filling in for Kenzie on maternity leave this week. Glad to have him. And remember, 8 o'clock, those Pearl Jam tickets coming up. But, you know, the night before, we always go through things to talk about on the show. Some morning shows don't do that. They just come in and just wing it, you know? No, this one prepares.
Yes, I was shocked. I'm like, what is this? What do you mean a rundown? We're actually doing show prep?
Yeah, we planned it all out. And, go ahead, Casey, you want to say something?
Lauren and Kara and Roker have all said the same thing, which is like, man, you guys work really hard. I wasn't ready for it.
Wait, this show is planned?
It's like how Brian and I, and Kenzie too, when she's here, work really hard to make this show happen.
Yeah, like say, it doesn't sound planned. Well, that's the gift that we have. Okay, just to make it sound not planned.
No, you're a real gem.
I'm a peach. I really am. But this hit me last night, kind of interesting, and I just want to share it with my cohorts here and with you guys, the crew members, because I just found this kind of shocking. I will not play the hit song from this man out of respect for the people that he wronged.
The victims.
The victims. So I'll just play this thing. But I really want to play that song because it's a great song.
Well, which one? Because he's got a few different hits.
I'm talking about the one.
The Space Jam one?
I believe I can fly. But I will not give the family a nickel. I will not do that. See, that's what we'll get if we play
Gotcha, right.
Well, maybe more than a nickel.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you're very admirable for doing this.
So it came across, thank you. It came across that in Olympia Fields, R. Kelly's house is for sale for $3.5 million. And the first thing I thought of is, where is R. Kelly? Because it was in the news about 2 years ago every night. And I mean every night and every day about what was happening with him.
Right.
And he got into jail. I know he was in jail. I know he was in Cook County for a minute, which is not where you want to be.
No.
And then
Probably with Jesse Smollett over there.
What a crew!
trying to order Subway from the jail cell.
That's right. That's right. You asked me where I parked. I'm like, oh, I'm over by the Jesse Smollett Subway.
But I was like, whatever happened? Because they're selling the house for $3.5 million, which, by the way, if you have that kind of money, it is beautiful. But I'd buy Jordan's house first if you have that kind of money up in Highland Park. I can't figure out why that house hasn't been sold in 10 years.
Well, probably because it's $20 million.
No, they actually dropped it. Like, they tried to auction Jordan's house at one point, and they couldn't even reach the limit. The low limit was like $9 million, I think, and no one even put that up for it. And they've dropped it to around the $10 million range. It was at 20 or 30. It was at one point. But I'm like, now if you're like a rich person, if I was rich, I'd have Jordan's house in a second. I'd be buying that house.
That would be cool.
Yeah. It's got all the stuff in it, all the stories, the basketball court. It's like the size they can make like 6 homes there if they want to. It's just sitting there in Highland Park.
Now, I have known R. Kelly for years.
Really?
I went to high school with R. Kelly.
Oh, my God.
Holy cow. I've known you for 2 decades. I never heard that story.
I went to high school with R. Kelly, and I always would say, I'll never go see R. Kelly in concert because I used to see him at Assembly every week. Now, when I was on Q101 before, I got nominated for an AIR Award. Remember the AIR Awards?
I do, the Achievement in Radio Awards.
Yes.
They used to have these, Case, believe it or not.
And I had done a parody called I Believe I Could Fry.
What's that mean?
I Believe I Could Fry, as in Get the Electric Chair. It was a parody song. It was an R. Kelly parody song.
So even back then, he was frowned upon.
Yes.
Because those AIR Awards were good, like 2010 or 5 or something
Before
like that.
that even, yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Like, they didn't even send me a certificate for, like, the last one. They were like, we don't have it.
That's too bad. Well, I Believe I Can Fry. Do you have that anywhere you can play? We can play it this morning?
I might have it on my phone.
Okay, well, we'll work on finding that and playing that later. What high school did he go to?
Kenwood.
And that's where you went, obviously.
Yeah.
So what was he like in high school?
He wasn't. He sang a lot. He wasn't very smart.
Yeah. But obviously singing a lot. You know, that's what the 10,000 hours he put in for the singing, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Well, it really all worked out for him.
Yeah, it did until it didn't.
I don't ever remember him being in a class.
Okay.
I remember him other than being in like the music class or assembly, I don't ever remember, like I didn't see him in geometry or something like that.
He just showed up for assembly and sang?
Yep.
Wow. I can't wait till Case labels our podcast, the new Brian and Kenzie podcast, something different every hour. It's going to be Roker talks about R. Kelly or something.
Roker comes clean about his R. Kelly's past.
Yeah, about going to high school with R. Kelly.
That's amazing. But that brings up a great point because I do feel like at every high school there's one kid who's just never in class. He's at the school, you see him around, never where he's supposed to be. R. Kelly was that kid for you. That's incredible.
Wow. So I said, but where is he now? Because it just went off the map. Like some other news story just bumped it all off.
Right.
R. Kelly's in jail. We don't care. It's fine. He's good. That's where he should be. And then all of a sudden he's not. So Case looked it up and found out where he is.
Yeah, he's not in Cook County anymore. He's in North Carolina in jail there.
Why would they send him to North Carolina?
Maybe he wanted to be there. I don't know.
He can't choose.
Maybe it's a federal pen?
Federal Correctional Complex Butner is the name of the prison. FCC Butner.
But has his final sentence even been decided? Because I was trying to remember.
I'm sure he's still appealing.
He was sentenced to serve 31 years of imprisonment with consecutive sentences. So yeah, I know he's been tried and everything.
Okay, because I thought he was still awaiting. Obviously, he's still appealing it. That's why he's selling the house in Olympia Fields.
He was supposed to go to trial. Here.
Yeah.
And then also like in New York.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it says right here, so Brian, mark your calendar because we'll be live on this day when this happens.
Okay.
December 21st, 2045, when R. Kelly is 78 years old.
We'll be broadcasting live from outside the prison. Gotcha.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.